you want. It's your choice.
Oh dear. Oh, there you
Okay.
go.
What up?
Hey!
How you doing?
I'm doing great. It is wonderful to talk to you. This
Wonderful to talk to you back.
This cartoon was so much fun.
All right.
It was unique and just a delight and short and bite-sized where you just want some more and it's just enough to keep you entertained. You play a hyperactive fox in the midst of basically the end of the world. And you and your fellow animal friends are exploring and enjoying the zoo like never before.
Yep.
So I have to ask, how did this project come to you? And what was it about this project that was like, yep, that's me, I'm the fox?
Well, I mean, first of all, everything that you just said, like, you know, a group of animals who have taken over the zoo, a hyperactive fox, those are words that I've used to describe myself for like 15, 20 years. So it just coincidentally, this show just happened to put, you know, what was in my journal about myself as the character description. No, but really I do think it's very clever and very dark. I love some good dark humor. And a lot of the creatives, like there's a couple people that I knew beforehand going into this, specifically this dude, Alex Plappinger. I don't know if it's Plappinger or Plappinger. I call him Plappy. But so I knew that like going into this, that there were some funny people that were involved. And then when I heard that they were, you know, I heard some of the names of some of the other people that were involved, like my homie Reggie Watts. I was kind of like, okay, cool. Yeah, this sounds like it'll be a really fun time. And then when I started reading the scripts and doing the voiceover stuff, and you know, I was like, it's going to be a wild life. And luckily, I think it really is.
Right. So I have to ask, how do you find the voice?
Now, this is a probably the most existential question for any voiceover actor, right?
Right.
So I didn't have I know a lot of voiceover actors, but they didn't really give me a lot of their secrets or their tools of the trade.
Right.
Not at the beginning. Now they'll be like, oh yeah, you know what I do? So there's a couple weird tips that I've picked up.
Okay.
The first one that I really like, and this is what happens at any audition. I gotta see what the character looks like. They don't always send you the picture. Sometimes they haven't even drawn a character and they want you to audition, which to me makes no sense, because unless if I can't see who it is that I'm going to be the voice for, then I can't get a feel for it. Because, you know, they draw the character and they're very clear about, it's like you can see the character's posture, their face. You know, Hudson is like, he's very upright and his eyes are like bright, like he you know is a you know like he works on Wall Street in the 80s, and he just took a bump. That's what he looks like. So I was kind of like, all right, this guy's gonna have this voice that's kind of like not only hyper, but it'll probably be in his throat, because he's so hyper that he doesn't take deep breaths. You know what I mean? So it's like he's always kind of like, hey guys, what about me? Like he's always kind of yelling at all times. Like he's just got that hyper. Like he's just been, you know, downing like, you know, Monster energy drink all day. Which some references that are in the show. But that's I felt like if I can embody that in the voice, if I can get that speed, that craze, that kind of mad scientist feel, then I think that's what I was aiming for on his image.
So as an actor, you look at the script and then you analyze everything, but also as a voice actor, what part to you comes first? Is it the plot? Is it the character, how it looks? How do you develop that character? Do you go by visuals, or do you have to go by what's in that script?
It's a combination of all of the above. You know, I think for any actor, I think the order in which you do those things might be important. Now, first I have to find the voice. I have to find what I think, because again, with that image, if people have an image or an animatic or whatever they have at the time, that can give me so much information, just how they move, how they handle themselves, how they kind of carry themselves in the world, right? These are things I like to think about. So once I have that, then of course you go to the script, because any character in any script is trying to, you know, go for a goal. You know, they have their motivation. So how he moves around people, how he tries to get people to do what he wants or gives up easily and just goes and does his own thing.
Right.
That kind of gives me a sense of, you know, how go with the flow or how ADD, you know, this character might be. And I had that sense that he's just kind of like, he's constantly like barking instructions at people and just like, I feel like I have 2 small children, so them yelling in my ears at all time for very simple things, I'm kind of like, yes, 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 this is what Hudson is.
So when you're in that booth, are you recording with others so that you're able to bounce around voices and ideas?
It depends, you know, for this show, not necessarily. This show is me alone with the, you know, the sound engineer and the group of writers and producers on the Zoom. And so we go over every single line, and this is why I have to know what's going on in every scene. Because if I know what his intention is, when they ask me to do it slower or faster, you know, like I want the glass of water you have in your hand. That's not going to change. You know, if I go for that slower, I still want it. If I go for it faster, I still want it. If I decide to be nice to you, I still want it. If I decide to be mean to you, I still want it. So as long as I know what he wants, all the variations and colors and speeds and all that stuff, it's gravy. As long as I can connect it to he's still trying to do something, it'll work.
Now, what would you say when playing this character was the most fun aspect in recording? What was the best thing about it?
Well, the best thing about it is really like when I'm getting direction from like 4 different people, you know, and some people know how to give direction, some people don't. Regardless, 4 different people are kind of trying to collaborate about what they think they want to hear or see. And so when they're always giving me examples like, try it like he's like, you know, his hand is in the cookie jar, like he's stealing a cookie and he shouldn't have, like he got caught. So it's like when I hear their note and I incorporate it and I do the thing, and then they're all on mute, and I can see them like throw their head back in laughter or just shake their head and be pointing, and I know that I nailed the thing that they were asking for. They're like, you know, that's the best feeling in the world when they're like, yes, that was better than what I wanted. So like that's what makes it dopeness for me.
Now, when you're also in the booth, are you very physical? Are you able to bring the character out that way also? Not just using your voice, you kind of like inhabit the fox.
Yeah, I gotta be a fantastic mister. I'm a little physical because I think that physicality does change your voice.
Right.
You know, I mean, are you sat right now?
Right.
Dana, are you sat?
Yes.
So if you like stood up real quick, like if you jumped out of your seat and sat back down and started talking, you probably have to catch your breath. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like that kind of physicality. Like if I'm in a scene where I'm like, there was a scene where I'm like under a car for a long time. I think it's in the first episode. I'm like stowaway, you know, under like a golf cart, and then I kind of climb out from under it with this kind of crazy Cape Fear kind of feeling. But knowing that he's been under a car and has been like, you know, hitting rocks and grass, and he's like, but he's so committed to like being there and kind of crazed. Right. Like I have to kind of like really think about like what that would be like to be holding on to something for dear life, but then also braving whatever's on the ground because you want to be included in something so badly. It really does change the physicality. Yeah, definitely.
So because you're not in, say, a booth with the other actors, how, as you're just there with the writers and like you said, the producer, how are you able to bounce off the voices and your reactions to the other actors?
Well, that's actually, I think, Dana, that's not only an important question, but I think that that's the question that a lot of people who make animation, that they answer that question informs how they go about it from the very beginning. Now, I've done stuff where I am in the booth with other actors, and we do get to improvise off each other and play off each other in a way that really helps that particular project. You know, that's not always the case, and obviously right now in the pandemic, or as I like to call it when I feel really cute, Panny D, we can't do that. So, you know, it really is like, I have to trust in the producers that they know what they want. So it's like, luckily, when I've seen things back, it really does, that feel of the back and forth is really there. That's the thing for in live acting, like on Grace and Frankie, there's nothing like that back and forward energy, right? So that's the number one thing that I miss when I'm doing voiceover acting, but it's also the thing that I feel like is the most magical when I see the finished product, because we do feel like we're in the same room and we do feel like we're in the same place, and that's what always is impressive to me.
Now, because it's animated, does that give you a lot of room, or any room for you to kind of go off script and start ad-libbing?
Fortunately, yes. And the producers of the show, because this is a good time and it's fun, and everybody is not being like, this is the most serious piece of work. Shakespeare wrote the script and you say it. Like, it's like, no, it's like, we're having a fun time. We're just trying to make a good show. So it's like, if I say something off the cuff, but it's in character, especially because I'm doing everything I can to imagine the context of the scene that we're in. So if we're in, say, a jacuzzi in the scene, and I don't in the scene say anything about the water or the temperature or how it feels, I might improvise something that to me makes the environment a little clearer, because I'm thinking about what it's going to look like later. Like, this character, he's in the jacuzzi, so he is wet. You know, is he uncomfortable? Is he comfortable? Does he want to jump around? Is he splashing people? I'm thinking about all that stuff as fast as I possibly can. But I feel like I'm getting lost now. What was your question again?
It was about ad-libbing. Are you allowed to ad-lib?
Yes.
That works. And also, as being a voice actor and acting in live, like regular live action TV and film, what tools are you able to take over that can kind of go for each one? Like if you were to do a TV and movie, what tools would you use in order to bring into your voice acting?
There's an old saying, Dana, acting is reacting. So in any situation, you know, because the thing about acting is, it's really easy to think it's just about saying these lines, but it really is about taking in what the other person has said to you, and then your line is your response. You, the character in the scene, have no idea what you're going to say until, of course, you get that response from somebody else. So trying to remember as much as I possibly can that everything I say is a reaction to something someone else said. So in the context of this show, sometimes whoever I'm in the scene with, they may have already recorded their side, or maybe they haven't, but the producers know what they're aiming for. So sometimes I need that extra help of like, what am I reacting to here? And they're like, oh, well, they just pushed you to the ground, so you're mad. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. In the, you know, reading this, if I was in real life getting pushed to the ground, I'd be like, you know, getting up and be like, hey, you can't treat me like that. But I know that feeling, I know what that reaction is, so I can hopefully imbue the line with that feeling as well. Imbue, that's my SAT word.
That's a
for
good
today.
word. That's the
Thank you,
SAT
Dana.
of the day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for speaking to me. It is a pleasure, and I look forward. September 26th is when the show comes out, and it's so much fun.
Thank you very much, Dana. I'm so happy that you enjoyed it, and I hope you will enjoy it all and the rest of the TZGZ catalog.
Very nice. I will.
Bye-bye.
Bye.